Hi, this is Mike Torsha. Welcome to Live Well and Thrive. I have a very special guest, Deisy Suarez.
Yes.
Thank you for coming. So, Daisy, share with me your story. I mean, how you ended up here from the Dominican Republic to here in the Beverly Hills, California.
Oh my gosh, such a long story, but I'm gonna make it as short as possible. I'm Daisy. Mike, just thank you for the introduction and thank you for having me here. I um I moved to the Dominican Republic in 1987, very young, not knowing what to expect. And living in the Dominican Republic, I had my neighbor. She was into beauty stuff. So she would always be doing body scrubs, body wraps, fixing her hair, fixing her skin. And I became her little assistant. And that's what I did with her. Like in the afternoon when I came from school, I would be there. Her name was Mary. And I would be Mary doing like all this beauty regimen. 87, I find myself moving into New York City, not knowing what to do. It was July 4, 1987. So there's fireworks everywhere. It's summer, it's hot. It was fun because people will have a lot of like the fire hydrant. That's when people open a fire hydrant and kind of do a lot of barbecue, street barbecue, and kind of like do those little bathe. I was not ready for the winter. When the winter started, my lips would get super dry. My skin would be peeling. It would get dark early in the day. We were not allowed to really go outside. And it was very, very sad. It was kind of like a sad moment for me. And I'm like, what am I going to do? I miss my friend. I cry every day. I wanted to go back to the Dominican Republic. And one of the things that kind of kept me busy and gave me happiness was just fixing myself, fixing my hair, doing my makeup, doing body scrub, how I'm gonna like get rid of all this, body like, dryness. And I was really young, and my mom was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I'm just gonna take some sugar, mommy. Can I just get some sugar and oil so I can like scrub it because my skin is peeling and my lips are really dry." So I remember all that stuff that I did, and I started implementing that, and then that just became like my outlet, and it was my passion, and I loved it, and it made me feel good, and I would spend hours and hours, and I would get an avocado, and I would take avocado, mayonnaise, whatever I would find in my kitchen because I didn't have money to buy product, and put it on my face, on my body, on my hair. And that grew into something beautiful,
Wow. So now you're this top esthetician
pretty
of
much.
this elite spa, multiple spa. How many spas do you have?
I have 3 and I'm going into 4, so we just taken over the Westin Bonaventure in downtown LA.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow. So you're more of the non-invasive treatments approach than some of these other lasers and some of these other programs that they offer with estheticians, or do you do laser too, red light therapy?
We don't do laser per se just because you need to be a doctor or you need to be a nurse to be able to use those more invasive, but we do outsource some of those treatments, and I'm very familiar with that. At one point, I thought of going to nursing school and doing it just to be able to offer more to my clientele. But I wanted to just focus on more holistic approach because there's a lot of people that want to do things that are non-medical. And my whole lifestyle has been about doing skincare regimen that didn't cost so much and can be more of a lifestyle. And once you hit that age, you still pretty much maintaining yourself because you've been doing so much throughout the years that you don't have to go and deal with painful lasers or chemical peels, like things that are too harsh. So I'm always trying to advocate for, you know, a wellness lifestyle and just more integrating that as part of your lifestyle.
Well, I know a key factor is it's just like working out. You have to take care of your skin
Yep,
every single day throughout the day.
pretty much.
And people don't understand that, but they also don't understand that skin is an organ. They don't
It's the
understand,
largest.
right?
It's the
So
largest organ.
so if you're not taking care of it properly and it's getting clogged and it's not being moisturized or temperature, like for instance, there is a brilliant doctor, Dr. Abaji. He has his clinic, this skin clinic
Very
here.
good doctor and very
Okay.
good products. He got really good
And
products too.
yeah, he's an amazing man. He the first time I started working with him, I was training him and his whole family. He said, "Michael, I want to tell you something right now. You have great skin, but I want to make sure you don't age rapidly. Do not take hot baths and do not take hot showers. It shuts off the healing mechanism of the skin cell.
Hmm.
It could be lukewarm, it could be cool, but hot water is not good for your skin. Your whole body and especially your face always wash with cold, cool water." because it's, he explained it's an organ and you shut it down and the recovery process shuts down the mechanism. So he really wanted to detail about skin and people don't understand. You have to really understand,
Skin anatomy is a
right?
whole different animal, and if you don't understand it, and like yes, I agree with cool water is really good because it vasoconstrict. We have something that is called the palate muscle, and it's the muscle that lives in our pores. So I don't know, like when you cold, your body you start getting those goosebumps.
Yeah.
So when you start training that, those goosebumps kind of like it's just protecting your body because it's trying to regulate the temperature, but it's also protecting you from invaders to come in from outside, triggers. So it helps also constrict the pores so it stay nice and tight. So it does help. That's why the cold water is good. But then when you use hot water, warm water is really good because it helps detoxify. So when you're going to a sauna, when you're going to a steam room, so it kind of go both ways. So it's like, yes, it might not be what helps with the skin per se, but it helps with other things in the
Right. No,
body because you
yeah.
need to detoxify. There's a lot of toxin, there's a lot of stuff that comes into our body. We are exposed to so much. Think about it. We leave this microphone here for days and you come back and it's going to be full of dust. So we're pretty much a receptor. We're walking around, we're catching so much and that goes into our body. That's why we have to like release it and push it out. A good way to get it out is with heat. Water, when you sweat in a lot of that stuff that gets in
Yeah.
there.
No, I'm on the same page. I even said to myself, listen, I like taking my Epsom salt baths. I'll
Yeah.
just not make it that hot.
Yeah.
And then he was like, okay with it. But I feel the soothing warm water, especially after having a really tense workout, is exactly what I need. Those ions to bring down the inflammation and the tightness and muscle soreness.
And it
So,
helps with muscle pain. There you go. It helps with
right?
that
And then the
tightness and
ions are
that.
good for the skin too, right? So now I love the fact that you're using all these natural ingredients that someone can have in their refrigerator or their cabinet or their pantry drawer, because if it's so affordable, then people can do it. That's the way they need to do. Because what good is going to the spa once a month, and the rest of the time you don't take care of your skin, right? And I think that's the problem with Americans today.
Well, it
It,
has to be, sorry to interrupt, it has to be the same principle to, what you eat, you are what you eat. So it's 20% what you do at the gym, 80% is what you do. So what you eat, it's the same principle when it comes to skincare health. So it's like 20% is going to be me, and then 80% is what you do at home. So everything is accumulative. So the more you do it, the more you pretty much train your body, you feed in that skin. There's a lot of radicals out there. There's a lot of free radicals, and we want to be able to use and eat things that are really good nutrients for the skin, which is antioxidant. So
so
that
do you have
helps.
a program so like say someone comes in and it's a young lady, she has a little bit of psoriasis, not something bad. She has some little acne, little imperfection. Will you actually offer her a program that she can follow with dietary suggestions, increasing water consumption along with your treatments? Do you do those kind of programs?
Yes, I do. And
Okay,
actually, my
that's
dad suffered from psoriasis for many years, and my son has it too, and eczema. So, yes, so I'm very familiar. It's more like you have to use products because it's an inflammation on the skin, and there's a lot of triggers. So, I will give them pretty much like a program to follow at home, things to not eat. And I also suggest that they go and they see an allergist just to see if they're allergic to something, because sometimes the body will react with an inflammation of, eczema or contact dermatitis. There's so many skin diseases and it can be triggered by food. It can be triggered by outside triggers. So it's good to understand what are those triggers to be able to avoid them. And then using things because you might be using things that you think is helping you and it might just be what's really causing the problem.
what do you think about supplementation? Are there certain minerals or vitamins you think people should consider taking, like
Absolutely.
omega-3 or something? What would you suggest if you were going to give a person a basic recommendation of some supplements they should include for healthy skin?
Well, vitamin A is really good because it's really good for the skin. It helps with the mother cells. We got the mother cells and the daughter cells. Those are the cells that are bad. They need to detach from the skin, so they need to be released by the skin. Also, vitamin E is really good for the skin. Also, like especially if you had like surgery or if you have any sort of like breakouts, that kind of stuff, it helps with healing the skin. vitamin C as well because it's an antioxidant. So you want to be able to help with all those free radicals because I don't know if you understand. We can get into free
Yeah, yeah,
radicals and I
no.
can tell you everything about it. And there's a lot of triggers that come, especially from pollution, from eating junk food, from UV radiation. There's so much. So that's why it's important to really, take those supplements that can help inside out. So you eating it, but you also need to apply it topical. And you also need to, make sure that you have the proper diet.
Now, you have this dynamic personality and this beautiful energy. You have several places. So when people come, do you feel they seem to gravitate to go when you're there because of your expertise, your energy? Is that something you find that how can I be in so many places at one time? So do you have maybe a staff that has your similar energy or follows a program? How do you keep that flow so people know that even though they're going to a place that you're not there that day, that they're an extension of you? Does that come up?
Yeah. So one of the things that I do that I'm very passionate about, everybody has to be trained by me. Nobody does training. I do training and I got to make sure that they're up to my standards. So unless I know that they're able to provide service like me or better, I don't want them there. I need to make sure that they are passionate and they really understand. And yes, there's always going to be those that are going to be senior, they're going to be more like masters, and you know who they are, what their strength, what their weakness. So you have to kind of like know who they are. So I do get customers that fall in love with me in a sense of like they love my personality, they love my attention because I love what I do. And when you come to me, you will get my undivided attention. And it's like I just want to it's like if I want to make love to you, but it's in a more nurturing, loving way, loving your skin, making sure that you feel good, that you've been cared for, that I'm like giving you the best possible service that I possibly can do.
So do you offer, if someone wants, virtual consults?
Occasionally, I started doing it throughout COVID. So I was doing like wellness, like it was more like virtual spot day. And I was hired, like USC hired me to do one for their teachers, for their students. I had a couple of other law firm, big companies that went and contracted me to do wellness retreat, but it was like virtually wellness retreat. And I would do more like self-care at home, how to prepare your own mask, your own scrub with kitchen ingredients. So they can, it was kind of like
I love
it
that.
was kind of like do it yourself kind of project. And from that, I got some of those, participant that was in those Zoom classes that I did. They wanted to do one-on-one consults. So I would occasionally do that. And, it's not something that I advertise, but if anybody wanted to, absolutely I do it.
Well, the reason I bring it up is most of the news programs, so if it's KTLA or KCAL CBS or Fox News
Mhm.
or ABC News, they call me to come in to talk about a subject matter that has to do with health, wellness, beauty, and so on. And I would think, because I talk to the segment producers all the time,
Mhm.
that if you wanted me to pitch to them, you can do a simple segment on how you could take great care of your skin every single day because it's important with just things that you can have in your kitchen, your refrigerator, whatever, because I think they would love the fact that it's for everybody. It's not just for women.
Mhm.
You're taking avocado and you're taking certain types of oil and you're taking other kinds of ingredients that are natural
Yeah,
or
there's so
organic.
much you can do. Everything can be recycled. It doesn't have to go to waste. And then, like when I growing up, nothing went to waste as a
Well,
little girl.
because the way they like me doing it is like, for instance, they wanted me to do something on simple tips for people if they want to get started on a program.
Mhm.
So what I did was I did the one-liner, and then I list the top 10 things that people can do without having reliant on gym equipment or specific foods. So I made it basically like these are the categories, these fresh fruits and vegetables. Important it is that it's organic because otherwise you could be exposed to
Mhm.
pesticides. Because as I explained in that segment is, which I think is a big waste of time and a big scam, is when they have those sprays at the store. So if you can clean your fruits and vegetables because they're exposed to toxins and all that, it's in the skin already. It's grown into the skin. It's not just on the outside of the fruit or the vegetable. That's why you need to get organic because it's already saturated as it matured. the
Well, I
plant
think it's already in the soil
and in the
too.
soil too, but it's in the product. So those sprays are useless. You're not gonna be able to wash it out of that
Yeah, you
because
can
it's
get it
grown
out
into
because because it was already fertilized with it. So it
right.
was pretty much the way it matured because they were feeding that.
Right.
So
So
feeding all that crap
if
to
it
it.
wasn't sprayed, it was maybe sprayed once before in the soil. Remains in there and it grows with the plant, so it's in the food. So if you're getting organic, then we will keep it consistent. Organic lemon or avocado. So if we can spell that out, 10 simple things you could
Yeah,
do.
brands that we trust because I don't know how true this is, but I have heard that not because you see the organic label means that it's really organic because I think I want to be able to speak more intelligent and be able to explain it better, and I want to remember exactly what it was, but there's something that you can pretty much get away with putting an organic label without necessarily being organic, because they will buy something.
I know where you're going with that because
I'm trying to be able to remember this in my
okay, but
brain.
I know exactly where you're going. This is a question that comes up all the time, and we brought it up on that news segment. People go to me, okay, what's natural mean? What does organic, and then what is natural organic?
Mhm.
Okay, so natural means it's not processed. Organic means it's not with pesticides or herbicides or anything like that. But a food can be natural, but it could have exposure to those chemicals.
Because of the soil. I
Right,
think
the
because the
soil,
soil was already like
right. So it could either be soil, but if it was sprayed. So ultimately, it should be natural organic because it's not processed. Because you could have something that's organic, but it's processed. And now you could be exposed to something that's toxic. So you want natural organic. So people don't understand what they mean. Because even though it's organic, it still could be processed.
right.
Right? And then you're
So
full
they
of the chemicals that are not pesticides and germicides. So that's what I'm saying. People have to understand what that terminology means because it tricks you.
But is it really everything organic or natural? Because when you think about it, the air, like there's so much toxin.
Well, it's, if it says it's got to say non-GMO, it's got to have those things. But if it has that on it, non-GMO, most likely it's going to be okay because they can't put that on the box. That's for sure. The FDA would not allow that to be on there. But again, you don't want things processed because it can be contaminated with other toxic ingredients. So I read labels, not just what's on the cover. I turn it around and whatever's the highest amount is listed first.
So you look for ingredients.
I look at the ingredients all the time. You never know because packaging
And
is
that's what they were telling me the ingredients. Sometimes just because it says organic, you got to get those ingredients. But yes, it was sourced. But those ingredients, how were they
but then
sourced?
they process. You're taking a beautiful product that's not full of those chemicals and pesticides, but they processed it. And there's other chemicals in processing. That's where they trick people. And you really have to understand whatever you put in your body must add value. See, that's like my body has changed over the years because I don't put anything in my body unless it adds value. And if you take that attitude, watch how your body starts to respond
Yep.
in such a positive way. In your skin, the way you feel when you wake up, when you go to bed, you could fall asleep. So I saw that transition in my health was I decided I'm not going to put anything in my body unless it adds value. And if you start making that's your mantra, your whole life's going to change. I tell people.
Like I don't leave my house unless I lotion up my entire body, exfoliate my skin, and especially SPF. SPF is a big one. I do my eye cream, so I got a beauty regimen, and I'm very consistent with it.
Your
And
skin's like silk, by the way.
thank you.
When I first met you out in the lobby there, I could not believe your skin. It's just silky smooth. So whatever you're doing is great. And I love the fact that you're taking these natural ingredients, not relying on some kind of chemical process or peel. It's really just things that have been from earth.
It has to be result driven too, and they have to be ethically sourced and also animal. I want them to be vegan friendly. I don't want animals to suffer so much for our beauty. I don't think it's necessary, but I make sure that I put things in my skin that is going to be good for my skin and good for the planet at the same time. So I got to be very conscious.
So
about
what
those.
are some of the treatments you offer? how broad is the menu?
Whew, we do so much. So we do anything from a body wrap, which a lot of people don't even think about that, but a body wrap is so good because it hydrates. We kind of cocoon you in this foil plastic wrap. We put this hydrating cream to give the skin the hydration. We got a lot of structural cells on our skin. And if we don't keep it hydrated, it's kind of like a plant. If you don't water the plant, if you don't give it the hydration, it's going to start cracking and it's going to start aging,
Uh-huh.
breaking. So that's pretty much what happened to our skin. If you don't give it the hydration that it needs, and water is life, your skin is going to eventually, all those cells that we have, those collagen, elastin, they structure cells. So they're going to start collapsing, they're going to start breaking. And that's when you start seeing people with a lot of wrinkles in their legs, in their hands, in their neck, because they have so much exposure to UVA
And what causes
radiation. And
that really dried neck I see people have?
because a lot of people neglect to really, they just think like face up. And I tell my clients, you're going to go all the way to the beginning of your nipple. If that gets exposed, you're going to make that part of your face regimen and make sure that you put SPF. And it's because when they get in all that pollution, UV radiation, it pretty much go into your dermis. It passes your epidermis, past your dermis, past your subdermis, and it goes exactly for your collagen and your elastin, and it breaks them. And when it
Wow.
breaks them, it collapses them, and then you start getting, not only that it start wrinkling up really young, at a premature age, but it's also start getting hyperpigmentation because now you start getting um, oh my gosh, melanocytes. They call melanocyte, which is from melanin, and it wants to pretty much protect you from some damage. So then you start producing a lot of melanocytes, so they start clumping up on top of another because it wants to protect you from the sun, but then you just get all this like hyperpigmentation, which is really bad, and
Wow.
it's really hard to cure and fix
That's amazing.
because
So
it costs a lot of money to fix it.
what do you think of pure aloe vera gel for the overall skin, face? Do you feel that's as
Amazing
powerful?
ingredient. I love it. It's anti-inflammatory, soothing, it's cooling. I used to have a plan when I started working from home and I was done waxing. When I was in New York, and I would take my aloe vera, I would cut them in pieces, put it in my refrigerator. When I would finish with a wax, bikini, Brazilian, anywhere in the body, I would just apply the aloe vera. They would not have any inflammation. They would not have any sort of like burning sensation. Is like awesome.
Well, in 2003, I was in a really bad motorcycle accident, and
Sorry about that.
yeah, it was tough. It was changed my life. I had one of those like Nazi helmets, the half helmet. So this guy came out, T-boned me on my chopper. I had just bought this beautiful Harley Davidson chopper with that long fork.
Oh
So with
wow.
those kind of bikes, you can't evade a situation.
Yeah, because it's a big apparatus you're driving. They
So
not
yeah,
that.
so he came out, he hit me. I went flying over the front fork, and that was a long fork, and my face from here, and there's still a bit of scar there. This was all raw, like the Terminator. I got up and I was stumbling, and I said, "I can't feel my face." So a woman was coming out of this laundry place. I go,
Do you hit the
um,
concrete and then the
"Oh yeah,
concrete
the
kind of like pretty
asphalt. Yeah,
much?
no, tore my skin." And
Wow, I'm
I said to
sorry.
this woman, I'm stumbling, and my jacket was all ripped. I couldn't walk with one leg, and I go, I can't feel my face. Is it okay? She dropped her basket, ran down the street, screaming.
Oh my goodness.
And then someone said, sit down on the curb. Then I went out. I just remember coming back in the ambulance and remember riding the ambulance and the neck brace. And they took me to UCLA. And there was this really cute nurse. So
You think about the
I
cute
still
nurse. You're
noticed
not even
it.
thinking about
So
like the
then I
face.
was like, fuck, I look like shit. I meet this nurse. And I saw she didn't have a ring on her finger. And I'm like, damn.
You need her
And she
number
was
at that
billed too.
moment.
Right. So check this out. So I go to her. I said, how bad's my face? Want to say, what, like 1 out of 10? And I go, yeah. She goes, I'd say like -5. She goes, it's pretty damn bad. I don't want to, tell you it looks good. I said, shit. I said, can you get me a mirror? She says, I go, no, I really want to see it. So she brought me a compact mirror. I was like, fuck. Damn, I used to be a good looking guy. I look like some creature
Well, you
now.
still are,
No,
and it doesn't look like you even had the accent. Because I'm looking at your face, and
I'm gonna get to
I
it, the
want to see
aloe
scar
vera.
tissue.
So anyway, um, fast track later, they had recommended I go because no one saw me. I was like
Mhm.
staying at the baseball cap and nobody wanted to see me. I was like ashamed of the way I looked. And being a bodybuilder, I was always proud of the way I looked. So it was this whole psychological shit. So I went to this Dr. Chi, this Chinese guy, and took months and months and months of these special creams and this laser and this other stuff. And I started seeing the skin regrow. There's just a little bit of that still there, but the rest came back. But what I was doing, and I've done since 2003, was use pure aloe vera several times a day. Pure 100%. That's all I put on my face.
You get that plan and you just
and it really helped me.
That was one of my masks.
It changed my life because even when it was coming together, I was like, fuck, I look like some creature, right? And it really bothered me because I was a very vain guy. I'm a bodybuilder, you know? But I got to say the aloe vera, well, if I knew someone like you, it would have been better. But I was just using what my mother always said, have a plant. I had an aloe vera plant.
Yeah.
And I would squeeze
it's magical. It's very,
it was.
People underestimate the property
the way
value
it
of
feels. Kind of gooey and thick. And I would kind of massage it in the skin, my neck.
Leave it overnight too?
Oh,
Go to sleep, yeah.
Oh, before I go to bed every single night.
Yep.
I've been doing that since 2003. And that's all I do. And I got to tell you
Which is a good skin regimen. It's like, that's all you need. And it's hydration too, because it's a lot of, and it's healing, it's soothing, and he has a lot of, vitamins in there.
Well, that's why I was excited for you to come in, because I want to learn from you. And I love the fact that it's household items, that people can afford. They can go to Smart and Final. They can go to these stores and get these.
I don't think beauty you don't need to break the bank to stay beautiful and stay young. And I would love to have you at the spot too, so I can pamper you and show you what I'm all about.
The Daisy special, right?
I'm gonna give you the Daisy extra special. We're gonna do the Daisy VIP special.
I really appreciate it.
And we can do anything from head to toes. We give you a body exfoliation, body wrap, a massage, a facial, anti-aging.
I'll never leave.
we do a lot of stuff in there because I didn't really. I didn't think I went over all the menu that we do. One of the most invasive one that we do is more microneedling, which is like, microchanneling, which is the needle. I don't know if you ever had that one.
Oh, no, I never had that.
So are you familiar with microneedling? Have you heard of it? It's like
I've heard of it. I had no idea what it is.
It's one of the most popular service. I think is maybe top 3. I know Botox is number 1. Hydrofacial, which I have, I believe is number 2. And microneedling, I think, is number 3 right now. And what it does, it uses needle. So the needle is deep enough to go past your epidermis, past your dermis. So it creates a trauma on your skin. But the needle, they not like anything that you're going to go and look like a monster or be bleeding. But it does activate the wound healing process. So your skin is tricking your skin into believing that you just had a big trauma. So it's like, oh my gosh, I just got attacked. So these little needles that we kind of like, stamp you with is going to regenerate and force the skin to repair. So It's really not fixing what we did because we didn't really create any damage. We just tricking the skin into believing that there's a damage. And now we start fixing and it start producing collagen, elastin. And I do it a lot and it's so effective. It's so effective. And acupuncturists has been doing it for many years because they use
this sounds amazing. What is a vampire facial?
Oh, that's a different treatment. So they use, it's more like they got to get you, they do the plasma. So they got to take your blood, they spin it, and they pretty much put it back into your skin. And they do use that with microneedling as well. Because when your skin is pretty much open, because we stamp in the skin with those needles, your skin is open. So there's a lot of open channels. So now we can push products. So it's equivalent to me injecting you. So now we can do stem cells. We can do that plasma that was taken out of your body and put back into your skin.
You do that, or that's something separate?
We do, because I'm not a nurse. I'm not a doctor. We don't do the plasma per se, but I do buy stem cells that are pretty much donated by healthy donors, human stem cells.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So they're like stem cells that come from human.
So what is your website?
Desuar.com. So it's DESUAR.com.
Well, I'll make sure it's on the website so people know about it. We'll put it out on there too when we do the posting.
Yeah, that's the name of my spa, Desuar Spa, which is short for Deisy Suarez.
Yeah, no, I love it. It's fantastic. Well, listen, thank you for coming on. It's been a beautiful experience.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for tuning in to Live Well and Thrive. And please remember to subscribe. We need your support. Thank you. Hey, thanks for watching this episode. Got great news. The merch is ready. You're going to see an array of all kinds of great products. Go to operationfitness.com. If you want to order anything, click on my store. Thanks for your support.